But the main event of the show was really quite stunning. I thought Randy Orton, who's been doing the best work of his career anyway, leveled up again here.
There was that report. Oh, it was Jerry, wasn't it? Who said, they're more free to just go out there and cut promos. It's not scripted for them anymore. I thought last week's Randy Orton promo was a great example of that. I think this one is an even better example of this. This didn't feel like this was scripted. This was just Randy went out there. It's like, I'm going to tell this story.
Well, the report is that Heyman has a lot of stuff to do with this storyline. A lot of it's coming from Randy and Edge.
Yeah, and that totally makes sense because this felt like a character telling a story from their past. That completely makes sense and completely justifies. Like, what a wicked twist in this tale as to why he wanted to injure Edge. I wouldn't have predicted this. No. This was the reason he did it, and it's such a genius reason that completely works for Randy's character that he thinks was the right action to do, but you as the babyface fan knows it's the wrong thing for him to do. It was brilliant.
Yeah, so Beth Phoenix comes out. This is what it was billed as. Beth Phoenix is going to give a medical update on Edge. I think everyone knows, though, that Randy's also going to come out there. That's what happened, and he goes to hug her, but she's like, get away from me.
What?
So he goes to shake her hand.
Yeah.
And she's like, you think I'm going to shake your hand?
Yeah.
And he just he looks really sad and his acting was phenomenal. And then he explains why he did it. He tells a story about how he looked up to Edge. Edge effectively saved his life, he said, when he made questionable life choices in the noughties. So now he wanted to return the favor because he loves Edge. He loves Beth. He loves their 2 daughters. And when he saw Edge at the Royal Rumble, great. But the next night, when he realized that Edge wanted to return full time, he thought, someone's going to retire, someone's going to seriously injure you. So to stop that from happening, I'm going to take you out of action.
Yeah.
And it just an incredible, like you said, I never thought that would be the explanation. I just thought we'd get some default WWE you people.
I was almost waiting for him to say because he goes and you know why I did it, Beth? And I was waiting for, oh my God, here comes the you people. And he's like, because it's your fault.
Yeah.
Pointing at Beth, it's like, you put ideas in his head that he can return to wrestling. You don't love him the way that I love him.
Oh, it was so good.
Because of what I did, that means that I love your children more than you do, because I've made sure they've still got their father. It was amazing stuff.
And it's so weird because I find myself kind of not agreeing with Randy, but certainly understanding him.
It's the Hangman Page stuff. Hangman Page doesn't feel like he's the bad guy in any of the situation because you completely understand his plight. And you understand Randy's character motivations here. He's the bad guy. There's no question about that. But it's like Thanos. Like what Thanos is doing, Thanos thinks that he's doing the right thing. And one of my favorite things in Endgame is when Steve and Natty are just talking, and he's like, oh, yeah, there were whales out by the Hudson Bridge. Well, there's more fish now. Like there's more, the sea's clearer, so people can move around. You're like, so technically in a way, Thanos was right. And it's just that one little throwaway line. And there is that moment where you're like, maybe he was right. Because someone could have injured Edge.
It was so effective that I started to think, man, maybe I'm bad for wanting Edge to come back. It was really, really masterfully done. And if you look at it from a character perspective, which is really, really fun to dive into, when Orton was younger and starting out, if he saw a legend coming back, he would have that was his whole gimmick. He was the legend killer. He would have seriously injured that person. So he is doing this thing where he's so deluded and in his own head, he thinks everyone else is as sick and demented as he is.
Yeah.
Like, he just thinks, well, I've got to take Edge out, otherwise some young legend killer is going to do it, and I can't let that happen.
He did this out of respect, was the other side of it as well. Oh. The story tells us that in '99, WWE did a house show in St. Louis, where he's from, and Cowboy Bob Orton took him to that show, took him backstage to meet everyone. Although weirdly in that, he said, I saw all the greats backstage, like, from that era, like Austin, Triple H, Shawn Michaels. I'm like, mate, Shawn Michaels was not there at that time. He was doing something, but
maybe he was just wandering around.
Yeah, no mention of The Rock, but you know, the other big names like Triple H. And he said that he saw Edge, he met Edge, and Edge shook Cowboy Bob Orton's hand and treated him with the respect that he deserved. And then my dad looked at me and he said, "This is my boy. He's hoping to get into this business as well." And Edge shook me by the hand like a man and said, "I hope one day we can share the ring together if you work hard enough." And so Randy has taken all of that, taken that meeting, taken the love and the friendship that they had, and Edge saving him, and it's been like, it's time for me to return the favor. It's time for me to save you now.
It was absolutely masterful. Just like the idea, the content, the delivery, the performance. And Beth looks at him when he says, maybe I love your daughters more than you do. And she slaps him. But Randy doesn't do anything. I think in his head, he's like, okay, I mean, you're wrong, but I'm the better man, so I'm not going to do it. Okay, you're going to kick me. Right,
Okay,
and
right.
it was on the kick that made him strike.
Yeah. She struck first.
Yeah. So, he hits an RKO. And unfortunately, the crowd were a bit markish.
The crowd treated Orton like he was the babyface in all this.
So they were chanting RKO, RKO, before the RKO happened. Like, this will be funny. Let's watch Randy, I said in the review, do his now annual tradition of hitting a woman after last year with Nia Jax. So they're chanting for an RKO, which, did take away from the drama and tension of the moment. This wasn't a fun chant-along bit. But then he does hit the RKO, and the crowd shut up. And like, oh, no. Oh, they did that. But the crowd were annoying. And then there were two other bits that did stop this from being an utterly perfect angle. And this is nitpicking, but that's the point of this show. And it's to cut to the announcers, and they're like, oh, and they weren't selling it well.
They do the Owen Hart voice, but
like, why doesn't anyone get outraged anymore? Why isn't anyone going, oh, you sick person?
Like JR.
Who's screaming that? It's like, oh, well, Beth's really injured there. Let's take 4 more replays of it happening.
Yeah, and then the mid-card, like the undercard without Ricochet run out to help her.
Yeah, so Natalia was there, of course, very good friends. Kurt Hawkins, I assume there's the Edgeheads connection.
Ryder was there as well.
R-Truth, yeah. But, I wasn't seeing that. I was just thinking, where's the doctors? And it's difficult because we all criticize WWE for not having those guys run out for when Edge was attacked in the first place, or for Matt Hardy. But they do it now, and it's like, but you still haven't done it right. So, I don't know. But overall, absolutely fantastic from Randy and Beth, particularly Randy, and just the whole idea and driving force behind this motivation has excelled my wildest dreams.
Yeah.